And let me ask you a question that I've heard asked at pretty much every time where this sort of discussion comes up, which is, do we have a cataloging problem? Which is, with archives tend to have catalogs. You can research them. They're mostly online now.
Right.
You and I probably both started off in the days of the card catalog. Those serendipitous encounters with the card next to it. But you can do some of that on an online search. But do we need, or do we have places where folks who aren't as well versed as you are in this sort of field can actually go find where these things are?
Right. So I think one of the things, there are a couple of, this is something that's come up a number of times, right? Every time.
Yeah, it's an old question, but it's an important question.
But I think there are a number of very smart people working on this. And one place I think that is beginning to address those questions is the Digital Public Library of America, which is both a portal to millions of records, digitized collections at thousands of libraries and archives and museums, but it's also a platform for engaging in serendipity, right? So you may be able to search on a particular topic, but it also has tools that allow you to browse, much like a library shelf or much like an archival collection, looking sort of from box to box, right? Knowing that that's an incredibly valuable tool for the researcher. They have built tools that allow us to begin to examine things and discover things that way.
And do you see then, so we've got this, and I think you're right, this huge expansion potentially of resources that are much more easily accessible without spending the vast amounts of money that graduate students have historically spent to go traveling to these archives. But do you think that access has also, or that those changes in the ways that the material is presented has also led to new ways of researching?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that there are, it is terrific that the Library of Congress has made millions of pages of newspapers available through their Chronicling America project, right? I think that's terrific. But you still have to go through all those. It may not be in microfilm anymore, but you still have to go through all of those pages. You can do searches on them, and that's helpful. But one of the things that we've begun to see emerge is text mining or topic modeling, which comes from other fields, data informatics and big data analysis, being applied to questions that are very much relevant to Southern historians. So one example is Rob Nelson's Mining the Dispatch project, where he uses some of these topic modeling tools to identify patterns during the Civil War in the Richmond Daily Dispatch, which has been completely digitized for that time period. And he finds some very interesting patterns about runaway slaves, about attitudes about freedom, about attitudes about the Confederacy. And then you also need, with an even bigger picture, looking at Chronicling America, there's a project called Infectious Texts, which examines sort of viral stories in the 19th century by using computer modeling techniques to identify not just exactly the same words that appear or phrases that appear, but concepts that appear, and to be able to identify concepts in one newspaper in Pittsburgh and another newspaper in Charleston, South Carolina, and beginning to sort of track and trace the way information itself flows. That brings us new ways of thinking about the South and thinking about history itself. And these were tools that just weren't available before.